Benji.
Hello, Avi.
This is the post-Passover Benji. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm 4 pounds heavier.
You look a little heavy.
Yeah.
I see it in the jowls.
Well, I started working out this week.
I didn't notice this week. That's very good for you. Right
it's
after.
So weird that you wouldn't notice that because I have never really worked out. Honestly, when I was very young.
You're saying this is your natural physique.
Yeah, pretty much. Meaning, when I was young, I was really good looking, but I was also just like very athletic, and I could do whatever I wanted with my body, pretty much. And why are you laughing? No, I'm just saying, like, yeah. I'm not like showing off. Like I was, I was just like naturally gifted in that one way. There's so many problems, but that I could do. Like I could run, I could jump.
What do you call it? Not aerobatics, like in the circus.
I was never in a circus.
Contortion?
No.
Were you the actor who was the pretzel when Zohan made the guy into the pretzel? Was that you? Because you had that kind of flexibility.
That was not me. No. Speaking of circuses, like you just said something that triggered me, as the kids would say. Like a mid-memory that's low-key upsetting.
Wow. You're in a safe space here.
I can't believe this just came to me. And I'm sorry, audience, this is a tangent from the tangent. But I once went to I think it was the Ringling Brothers.
Sure. They were high
Madison
quality.
Square Garden.
Three-ring circus.
This was the first ever. I got to look this up after. And we'll put something in the show notes if it's true what I'm saying. But I was at
Google show notes.
Yeah, I was at like a Chol HaMoed special religious like circus performance.
Right.
Where they did not allow the trapeze artist to have the woman there. And they screwed up and the guy fell.
What? Because of the ultra-Orthodox ultra-Orthodox audience.
Right.
Wow.
Right. Most of the crowd was separate seating.
That's a long time
crazy.
ago also.
Yeah. Wow. You just hit me with that. It wasn't that no one could catch them. It's that the rhythm was completely off or something like that. Yeah. Anyway, I was gifted. But now, and I haven't exercised in forever because I don't have the willpower, I guess it is. So, but then I met a man. Like a really special guy.
Is this the man who told you that you could do anything you wanted with your body?
Pretty much. Yeah. No, he's a personal trainer.
Okay. Oh, sure.
Yeah, reasonably priced. And I realized if I'm going to work out, because another friend...
I wish you would Google personality trainer.
I need to do that. By the way, another tangent from the tangent. But I listened to one of our podcasts because remember the podcast that we did about my great uncle and the trip to Italy?
That's one of the best episodes.
Yeah. And I basically gave a presentation. Yesterday was Yom HaShoah. I gave a presentation about that story. And to remember the story, I listened to my own telling of the story. You could just press play
and sit there.
Yeah. So what was interesting to me, the story is interesting, and everyone who hasn't heard it should. It's called The Old Bag Tells a Tale of Love.
That's right.
But what was interesting to me in listening to a podcast is you're constantly telling jokes, and some of them are funny.
Thank you very much for saying that.
I don't want that to go to your head, but like when I'm talking, I'm not paying attention to anything you're saying.
Right.
So I'm going to listen from now on to hear the added value. I'm saying this as a compliment.
Another option would be for you to stop talking. Just let me do the jokes. But that's a joke because
like I honestly didn't hear what you just said because I was thinking about the next thing I'm going to say.
Now we've become a meta podcast because now we're talking about our own podcast that you played in front of children because you're too lazy to make a lecture.
Exactly. No. I put slides together. I'll send it to you. It's actually really good.
But next time, so that we get more downloads, have them download it. Don't just do one download and play it for them.
But how embarrassing was this? I gave the presentation with the slideshow and everything, and there were pictures of me in Italy wearing the same outfit I was wearing for Yom HaShoah.
Oh no!
Isn't that horrible? No.
First of all, why are you dressed so down in Italy? You should dress happy.
No, I was dressed like a little bit. I was trying to be like Italian cool, like sort of like like nice pants, nice shirt, and a little bit chic.
I assume black, and because it's Yom HaShoah, it was black and black.
No, I screwed up anyway in the way I dressed yesterday, but it was brown and beige pants and a black shirt.
That's nice because you want brown to remember the brown shirts.
We're not making Holocaust jokes.
It's not a joke.
No, nothing humor.
Okay.
Like there's some topics that are taboo.
They are taboo.
My body is not. So I was like an Adonis as a child, and now I figured I'm still perfectly capable of doing whatever I want. So I met this incredibly short man.
I was an Adonis until the age of 6.
I met this incredibly short man. It's going to come. Why he's short? I don't know why he's short. That's genetics, but why that's important, I'll tell you.
Midget?
No, not a little man.
Is midget allowed now again?
By the way, another tangent. I don't like this world. I hated the woke world. I hated the woke world, but worse. The response to the woke, where like the R word is okay suddenly,
right?
Like Joe Rogan just says it, like thank God it's okay. He said.
Now I don't want to say it anymore. I only wanted to say it when it was transgressive.
You know, I had a brother with developmental
it had the frisson of transgression.
I had a brother with developmental disabilities.
I know,
and it was. The word became hurtful.
Right.
Like it's just words do hurt. And why would you want to hurt people?
Correct.
If you don't have to. If something's offensive, it shouldn't be disallowed. It's not that you can't say it or you get canceled, but why would you want to say it?
I don't think people use the word mean to hurt people. They use it to use a word that's, emotive or whatever, but it does indirectly
hurt people. If you know that your audience
You remember when Norm Macdonald got in trouble for that?
I don't want to talk about Norm Macdonald.
Norm Macdonald used that word, the R word, on the Howard Stern show.
Yes.
And then what he actually did was he almost used it. He's like, why can't, what are you, and instead of saying the R word, he said, what do you have, Down syndrome? Which made it worse.
Wow.
And then he went on The View to apologize for do a mea culpa, to do it, like a lot of people do. You have to go on The View. If you do something bad in modern times, you go on The View. It's like bringing a sacrifice in the temple. But I think the whole thing was planned, because at the end of like 10 minutes on The View, the very last thing before they go to commercial, he's like, look, I'm really sorry about what I did. And he looks around like at Whoopi Goldberg and the other ladies, and he says, and I hope I didn't offend any of you guys. And then before they can realize that he's calling them the R word, they go to commercial. Yeah. He does a little smirk. The whole thing
may be reading too much into it.
I may be, but I might not be. It's and I only
this is like sometimes the Torah, like you go with pshat.
I'll play
Lahavdil. Not Lahavdil for you, Norm Macdonald and Torah, but sometimes you'll see like a parish and the parish and the parish is giving some like crazy explanation, reading too much into the text.
I leave it to the readers. I'll put a link in the show notes. Now,
fantastic.
Okay, I want to get back just to the woke words, what you could say and couldn't say.
Yes.
So there were some words. Let's take midgets for example. Okay.
Yeah.
The word midget.
Yeah.
Or dwarf, and then it became little person.
Right.
Now, the whole reason we made words like midget and dwarf was so that we didn't have to call the little person a little person.
Yeah.
And so then it became, it's like someone who's like, there's a word homely for someone who's not an Adonis like you. Maybe they're homely. So you don't say, like, let's stop using homely. Let's say unattractive person.
Right.
That's like little people can be attractive. It's hard to talk about this topic without offending.
No, I think we should be able to talk about it right now.
It just went so far around that we started using the
sounds
offensive.
Worse. Yeah. I mean, like if you look at blacks,
ugly person.
If you look at blacks, right?
I don't see color, but yeah.
Okay, so just so you know, meaning there are black people in the world.
Okay.
All colors, really.
Okay.
I'm not all colors. Maybe in the universe they're all colors, but
I don't see gender either. As Conan O'Brien said, when I look down in the shower, I don't see gender. It's Conan O'Brien line.
So nice.
Friend of the podcast.
So if you look at the word black, this is an obvious point, but there was an evolution of what became not okay, right? You went from Negroes to colored people to blacks to African Americans back to blacks, right? I think that's the progression. And the truth is, like,
You're testing Spotify's
I hate that
filter now.
No, I'm not.
And this might get pulled.
Which word that I just said about historical references to historical periods where they use different words is not okay? I didn't say the N word.
I don't know, but one of them or two of them might be. But let's find out.
No, there was a race, the Negroid race, the NAACP. The N stands for something. Doesn't it?
I don't think it stands for what you think it stands for.
Oh, sorry. No. Sorry. Oh my God, I'm so stupid. we have to cut all this. I sound like an idiot.
Anyway.
Am I stupid?
No,
I didn't say I was a smart kid. I was just
never understood the face that people, the face that people were making at you. which was, I made it, but we were talking before we recorded.
I just say the N. So that was when it was colored. Yeah.
There's a look of disappointment. There's a face that expresses disappointment that I think you just never, I think that's it. I think if we fix that, you're going to blossom.
You're saying in my interactions with people
yeah,
generally?
there's a look that people are disappointed in you.
And I don't get it.
I think not. Yeah, I'm not sure.
But is that a look I'm getting all the time?
I think you were getting it a lot and you missed it. But anyway, go on with your stories.
But why do you say that?
Behavior, achievement.
You're saying I've underachieved in life and I would not have underachieved if I'd noticed that people all around me look disappointed?
Yeah, because you've gone down paths of behavior deeper and deeper, thinking that look of disappointment was a look of tacit approval or even encouragement.
So people should speak up.
I know. Or
they should say,
Post-its on their forehead.
I'm disappointed in you.
Yeah.
Or your behavior is disappointing.
Benjamin.
Or I expect more from you.
Right.
Yeah. Say what's on your mind. Are you disappointed in me?
I'm not at all. I'm not at all disappointed.
Who's disappointed in me?
I don't know.
My mom loves me.
Yeah. Yeah, probably.
Yeah. Okay. This got deep. Anyway, back to words.
Back to Passover. Back to words.
Anyway, what I was going to say was that I think that we're in a crazy place now. We talked about this in the last episode.
We're in our studio now.
Right. By the way, when I was listening to that episode, it's not like everything you said was funny.
No.
Meaning you're batting, you're sort of in the range.
I bat 233.
No, of like old-timey, decent batting averages.
Yeah.
Yeah, somewhere between 200 and 300.
Yeah.
Right.
Not going to be a Hall of Famer.
You would have been
at least not on the first
in the
vote.
Well, when were batting averages like relatively low? In the 70s, let's say.
Well, I don't remember.
They were high way back. Okay.
Right.
Anyway. So
then there was the hot ball era, or am I confusing genres?
The juiced ball.
Juice ball era.
There's I wish someone who knew about baseball was listening because was here with me because there's a whole thing. Yeah. There's the dead ball era.
Dead ball era.
When was that?
Dead ball era, I think it was like in the 1920s, 30s, something like that.
Okay.
I have kind of like with the Depression.
I have friends who know about this, and if they listen, they'll be upset to everything we're saying.
The hot ball era is a whole other thing.
By the way, people who know baseball are so annoying.
Why? I don't think so at all. Who is annoying?
I think, first of all, baseball's done.
I don't agree with you at all.
Okay. Go check attendance records.
I haven't watched any games this season, but I disagree with you.
More people listen to this podcast than watch the World Series.
Well, that's of course.
Okay.
But okay. Back to
words and then back to Passover. So I am upset. And we mentioned this in the last episode, so I won't dwell on it, but I this response to wokeness, which had to happen, is going so far, as we discussed last time. It's okay to say that all the conspiracy theories are actually about Jews,
right?
And to talk about how terrible Jews and Israel are and is. But beyond that, it's like you can say whatever you want. Like, words don't hurt. And I'll tell you how I know this, because I talk to a lot of young people, and American young people.
Yeah.
And what's become in vogue, and you'll be shocked by this, I think.
Young people are reading Vogue?
No, they're not reading anything.
Okay.
That's another issue. But what's back in vogue is basically to use the N-word.
No.
A lot.
No.
Okay, I'm going to tell you a story now. I spoke to several young people, and it's regional, but basically this
calling each other that, like imitating the
just
hip-hop.
Using the word. I'm telling you, in places that are red, like parents don't know what kids are up to, and kids are not being recorded, but they're using the word all the time. Not only that, I was at a wedding.
In a denigrating way, in a bad way,
in all kinds of ways.
That's not good.
In all kinds of ways. Because it's like, I don't know if an extension of Trumpism, an extension of the age of what they're hearing. Not that their parents are saying the N-word necessarily, but they're calling in a derogatory way for homosexuals, the F word, whatever we want to say. But that a lot also. But then I was at a wedding recently, and I was sitting next to a very nice woman I knew from high school. And she's like, this isn't true. And I'm like, in the modern Orthodox community in the New York area, I know it's true. There, I know. She's like, no, kids do not do that. Her daughter sat down, who was in seminary. And I said, let's ask your daughter over here.
What up, man?
Yeah. Oh. She said, oh, yeah, we all use it.
Terrible.
In high school. That's just the way it is.
But there's a friendly way, an imitative way of using it that is wanting to be a hip-hop artist, a rapper. Oh, and then there's a way that's mean. and racist and racialist. I don't know the difference.
Right. I'm just saying, like, I don't think we should have to say the N word. Like, we shouldn't have to say it like that. We should maybe be able to say it in an academic way, talk about the word.
We should be able to say it right here without saying the N word.
We shouldn't use it in a derogatory way, right? Like, that's what I'm saying. It is hurtful if someone would say Jew in a derogatory way, like, oh, you're being such a Jew, or you're Jewing me down, whatever, like, that's upsetting. If you mean it in a bad way, if you think you're a Jew, like, you're fantastic, and as a young person you had a good body, like, yeah, okay, that's nice. But so I think that we've moved to the point where these words are being used again and in a hurtful way. And that's just a symptom of the age, of this crass age that we're in. Anyway, everyone thinks the next generation's crazy.
Yeah, speaking of crazy, and we've become a podcast that's talking about podcasts. We started with our own, and now I'm going to move to the Tucker Carlson podcast.
Okay.
That guy's nuts. That guy's legit nuts. I listened to him just to see what's going on in Nut World.
Yeah. By the way, he's like mainstream.
You know, I don't know if you did this at your Yoma Show Up presentation, but you know how like the evil Nazis, evil Germans, like the caricature, they would have this evil, not even evil laugh, but a specifically like German laugh. It'd be like, and then we will take you to dinner, and then we'll go out for a drink.
Yes,
you know that laugh?
Yeah.
It's kind of a titter.
He has that.
Can you say titter? Yeah, Tucker Carlson has that.
He has it.
He'll be like talking to, that's like the craziest story. I'm so done talking about COVID, but now I'm talking about COVID again. That's what he does.
It's a crazy laugh.
I don't know if we lost listeners just now. It's worth listening to him just for the laugh.
They might have turned over to Tucker Carlson, and
everyone should listen to Tucker Carlson to
hear one laugh and stop.
No, because to see what's the insanity, the irrationality, the I don't know, prejudicial thinking. It's not even racial prejudice. It's prejudicial thinking, like more widely. Irrational thinking, irrational talking.
Irrational thinking is everywhere.
It's in vogue.
Conspiracy theory type thought is everywhere. Everywhere. Yeah. It's just like, and it's of course, meaning this gets to that like podcast we listened to together, which was this guy Smith versus Murray, you know, like on Joe Rogan,
Smith.
right?
Is he a Jew? I
think he's part Jewish. I don't know. I don't think
it's like. I don't know either.
We can look on Wikipedia for that one.
Is Douglas Murray Jewish?
No.
Should be. Honorary Jew. No. I know he's not.
But he came off, like, I thought he was great, but he came off to the rest of the world as like incredibly smug and condescending and like appealing to authority and whatever. But because, like, of course he has a good point, meaning
I'm not sure.
Take a step back. Experts are sometimes wrong. That doesn't mean they're always wrong, and it doesn't mean that their opinions aren't more valid than someone who's a non-expert.
All right.
All of that can be true. They can be wrong sometimes, and yet usually they're more right than everybody else because they know the topic.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And he said something also which was completely like, it's incontrovertible. And that is, if you care about a topic a lot and you're going to talk about it all the time, and you're not the poor man on earth, like a very poor person, you should go to the region and see it. That doesn't mean you can't have an opinion, but your opinion will be more informed if you are there. Of course that's true.
Right. I don't know how many of our listeners listen to that controversy.
Well, they should go listen to that podcast. It's been, most people that I know have listened to it, maybe because I forwarded it to them and they respect my forwards.
Speaking of our listeners, I think it's time to ask our listeners for a favor.
What?
Let's grow our audience even more. I wanted to ask our listeners, each one of them, to send the podcast to three friends they don't care about losing.
Huh.
3 friends down there on the WhatsApp, have like way down.
More acquaintances?
You can go just scroll down in your WhatsApp, and it's those, the ones that are still green. You didn't really answer them.
Yeah.
And you don't care about losing. Send it to them, and then maybe we'll grow. Yeah,
we could try
even
that.
more grow.
Well, I'll tell you where there's been phenomenal growth.
Where's that?
In your family.
Yes. What do you mean?
On account of
saying we're fat?
On Passover. Well, some of you are overweight, but on Passover, your whole family was there at the Gomez Hotel.
Oh, don't reveal the location.
What
I guess we're not there anymore.
We had like an ad every week for the program. It was amazing.
It was amazing.
It was a beautiful hotel. The program was perfect.
Keter Travel.
That's where I gained the weight.
Yeah. Keter Travel. That's Michael Smigel. It was a really, really fun program.
Was so well done. And I'll tell you something, like, this is very personal. But
the bread was delicious.
The the fact that, and this tells me something, because I learned a lesson. Like, Michael is the nicest guy I know.
Accepting present company.
No, like, you're a good guy.
What?
And you're...
All right, fine. I agree.
You make up for it in personality. But he's like the sweetest guy I know. And that, you know
He's
what?
not Swedish.
Right. That helps. That helps a lot with everything.
He made he really created a great vibe.
You are so happy for the success of this program
because he doesn't listen.
I'm not typically happy for others people's success. I usually
I'm hurt by it. Something hurts when people succeed who are like, it could have been me, but it's them.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Something in my heart dies.
Right. I resent it.
A small part of my heart.
I didn't resent it at all. I loved it because he's so nice, and it taught me a lesson that no one. Maybe people have looked at me this way, and I didn't notice it. Like when they're disappointed, but like that look maybe of you should be nicer. I haven't been picking up, Benji, and I'm going to try and be a nicer person.
That's a step in the right direction.
So I'm missing that. Meaning it's social awareness. Like disappointed. Maybe put up a number system for me. Like 1 is I'm disappointed in you. Right. 2, you should be nicer.
So middle finger is disappointed.
No, I'm saying for the podcast. 1 means I'm disappointed in you. Right. 2, please be nicer. It'll help you in life. Okay.
Okay.
And we'll think of some more.
Okay. And then we'll go to then we'll do post-its.
Anyway, your family,
it was terrific.
They've seen the podcast, and not only that, I didn't like get their humor. Mm-hmm. I guess some of them because there were like unlimited buffets with unlimited types of food,
except for the chametz part.
Occasionally, there was chopped liver there.
Ah, yes.
So one of your pretty close relatives, super nice man or woman, would keep saying to me, "Hey, aren't you going to get some of that chopped liver?" And I didn't get it.
Yeah,
but
because I said, "Is Benji a little slow? Is Benji a little?" Is Benji an R?
I find myself kept taking chopped liver because people kept recommending it to me.
Yeah, a lot of liver.
The
hotel's right on the Kinneret, the Sea of Galilee. Lake Kinneret. And the Kinneret is virtually empty. This is not to disparage any sister religions, but it's clear that it's easy to walk on water in the Kinneret. I was doing gags the whole time. You just look like you're walking on the water because it's so shallow.
Right.
You could be 100 feet into the Kinneret, 200 feet into the Kinneret.
Yeah.
And that's 70 meters to you and me.
So you think that's what was going on with...
I'm not saying anything.
Jesus.
We visited some churches there as tourists to see. There's a lot of interesting Christian history. And we visited an unbelievable place I highly recommended called Susita, which is on the eastern shore, overlooking on a hill. A lot of history, a lot of incredibly well-preserved Roman-era ruins. It was a Roman town on Hilltop. I recommend they've done a great job of preserving it. It's terrific, and it's not too big at all, and not too much walking. I don't like walking. I like to drive.
Well, I started working out this past week.
Have some potato chips and a Coke and get back in the car. That's what I did. And that was to see that. But I want to talk about the North in general. Can we talk about the North in general? We are Northerners. We're from the North.
I just want to tell you about my new body.
Okay.
We talked about the N-word. It's been used. By the way, Americans, ask your high school age kids, and send a WhatsApp to Avi, like with what's going on in youth culture. And maybe you're okay with it. Maybe you don't care. Like to me, it's just unnecessary. Okay. Not cancelable, but unnecessary.
It's terrible.
Yeah. I mean, there's so much wrong about me. And you're looking...
Go on.
But I try to be like not to say things that are deeply hurtful to other people.
I'm trying to hold back a Tucker laugh.
I think I try. Maybe I'm wrong. No, anyway, so this shrimp of a
there's no shrimp in the program.
No, I'm kidding. This guy who's the personal trainer.
Yeah.
So we get in the gym, and I don't know what I'm doing with anything, like nothing.
Well, you know. Okay.
None of these machines. You do.
There's stuff on the floor. You probably imagine you're gonna have to lift it up off the floor. Or
there's a lot of machines, and he worked with me through all these different machines.
Machines or free weights? What are you working with?
Both.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Because I have this friend he's like an incredibly close friend, but he's also like unbelievably annoying to me sometimes.
I think I might know.
Disagree about everything. And he said to me that his doctor said to him, it doesn't matter if you're thin.
Right.
If you're not getting your heart rate up and working out many times a week, you're unhealthy.
Right. That makes sense.
I didn't know you have to work out. I thought I could just starve myself.
That's what you've been doing?
Yeah.
Not working. But you got to get the heart rate up. Yeah. I get my heart rate up by eating lots of potato chips. There's two ways to get your heart rate up. One is exercise, and the other one is cholesterol.
Anyway, this dude, it turns out, he's super muscular.
Right.
Right.
But you mentioned shrimp. You called him a shrimp. Is he short?
He's very short. I only mention that because the only way that he compliments me
he says you're
is
tall.
By mentioning how tall I am.
Oh, really?
As he's like changing the machine around, moving the seat back and forth.
And you're Googling like, is tall synonym for fit with fitness instructors?
He's also using, I think he's trying to show off. Because I know a lot of things about some things, but I don't know muscle groups.
Are you doing chin
So
up?
if he's telling me, pinch your scapula.
I think a scapula is a tool that's used by
So what is it?
OBGYNs.
What's it like your shoulder and back?
There's something like that. All right. Maybe there's...
He's saying these things. He's Israeli, but he knows these words, and he keeps using them. I have no idea what he's talking about. Anyway, he said you're going to be sore.
Did he talk to you about a pronated or a supinated grip for a chin up? That's That's also advanced vocabulary.
We're talking about that.
All right. Well, it's working. Whatever he's doing, it's working. Your resting heart rate seems down. You're very...
Talk to me in a couple weeks.
Okay.
You're going to notice different. I'm going to wear only tank tops like him.
Great. He wears tank tops too.
Why? Meaning, if
Why
you
not?
have muscles like that,
Why not?
You would wear tank tops all the time.
I don't own any tank tops.
I'm thinking in shul it's going to be weird.
I own a wife beater, but only as a I don't want to say a threat, but it's in the closet.
And does your wife?
It's there.
She knows it's there. She knows you could take it out anytime. All I'm saying is, I feel fit because I'm sore
and delusional.
But when I walk around town and I'm trying to get compliments on being sore, they don't know I'm sore. There's no actual physical change in terms of how sculpted I am.
Why is Benji limping? Yeah.
Right. So, meaning, so far, there's no added value to what I'm doing other than feeling sore.
Keep it up. That's what they say. Keep it up.
But you know what? One last thing, and you may know this already. The fact that you're working out doesn't mean you can gorge yourself on ice cream the rest of the day.
No.
Yeah.
But again, that's a kind of a workout.
Anyway, back to what you were talking about.
Sport. So the north of Israel.
Yeah.
This podcast is about what it's like to be in Israel. And so it was my first time back to the north. I don't know about you, but it's my first time back to the upper Galilee.
Yep.
And the finger of the Galilee.
Yep.
And
we weren't in the finger of the Galilee.
No, but I went up. I went up to the finger of the Galilee.
You're talking about your own little private trip?
Yeah. We ventured even further north.
Okay.
And we went ATVing at a place called near, I think it's a Ramat Naftali or Ramat Naftali, I think. Okay. And a place called Dishon.
Uh-huh.
Moshav Dishon, which has some very nice wine. We bought the wine, so I can say very nice wineries in that area.
Okay.
And you see the border with Lebanon. We haven't been there. I haven't been there in years since before. Certainly not since the war. And we went even further to Kiryat Shmona and then to the Banyas.
Mm-hmm.
Went to Kiryat Shmona, and you can see a lot of which was heavily bombarded by Hezbollah, and you can see houses that are still damaged. Most of them have been. You can see houses have been recently fixed, houses and buildings, and some that haven't yet been fixed. And it's very strange to be in a country that had bombed out cities. I think we were here in the second Lebanon war when that happened too.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I guess either I don't remember or I didn't go up then. But it's...
Well, what did you see? Meaning Kiryat Shmona looked... people are back?
First of all, some people are back, but it was very empty. But it could also be... Well, no, it shouldn't be empty because of the holiday. It should be full because of the holiday. It's pretty empty. We were there on a Friday afternoon, though, so people might have been napping. It was siesta time. Anyway, beautiful part of Israel, as you know. And but thank God things are getting better. But very, very strange. And very quiet. Because of the success up there.
Yeah.
And you can see also...
What do you think of that regime up there? Are you optimistic they're up in
Syrians?
Syria? I mean, yeah.
Well, as you know, I'm an expert on Middle Eastern affairs.
Yeah.
And I don't...
Are you hopeful? He looks like a put-together guy.
He looks like he's a personal trainer.
Yeah, I think
and he wears a suit.
And then a nice beard.
You should grow a beard. Yeah, you should grow a beard.
Yeah, probably.
You'd look better. You look thinner if you had a beard.
Yeah.
You'd look a little thinner. It'd cover up some of the jowl. But that just might be post-Passover, too much chopped liver.
Yeah. No, a lot of people say I should grow a beard. Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't think much of that guy. But Donald Trump thinks a lot of him. There's going to be entered into the...
This is a no Donald Trump
No Trump zone? No
today.
Trump zone?
I can't.
Can't.
I just have... I believe it's called Schadenfreude.
It's not.
Schadenfreude?
I think it's Schadenfreude.
Tucker Carlson saying it right there. No, all these Jews, all these friends of mine.
Yes.
Who think he didn't do anything crazy last time, so he's not going to do anything crazy this time. Yeah. Idiot.
I might be one of those idiots.
You're the idiot. I'm talking to you and I'm looking at you. But this is a Trump-free zone anyway. You know, keep excusing everything he does.
No.
He's playing 3D chess.
No.
He's not playing chess. He's playing checkers with his eyes closed.
Isn't chess 3D?
4D chess.
Yeah, maybe. I think it should be 4D chess. Yeah, or 5G chess, which is faster download speeds.
Yeah, that'd be like with the timer.
Yeah. That'd be like a timer.
Slightly upset you haven't asked about the follow-up to my kidney stones.
I totally forgot about it because you suffered in such a stoic silence.
Thank you.
How was your stone? Is that it? Is that what you're holding? Is that the kidney stone? I'm kidding.
That's a cup of coffee.
Oh, that's your cell phone. Okay.
I have both hands filled with stuff. By the way,
in Israel, they let you keep the stone. I know someone, I won't say who, but I'm married to her, who had her gallbladder removed because she had gallbladder stones.
Yeah.
And no names. Right. First initial, R.
Right.
R, after the surgery, they come in with like a pill bottle, but transparent.
Huh.
And shaking it, and these are your gallbladder stones.
And then you keep it like on the shelf.
Yeah, we made a necklace.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting.
I made a necklace and I gave it to R for our anniversary, and I told her that they were garnets or something.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah. Thankfully, I'm feeling better. I went to several.
Oh yeah, you. Sorry. How are you doing?
Okay. I went to several doctors.
Mm-hmm. Any of them urologists?
Yes. Not only that, I have a new mission in life. Like what? You said, everyone's disappointed in me.
I didn't say everyone.
Okay. I'm not going to disappoint them with this mission.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. There's a dude. I can't remember his name right now. I'll put it in the show notes. Who I needed an appointment with a urologist.
Mm-hmm.
I live in Israel. Right. I went in the app for Milcheret. That's one of the HMOs here.
The HMO is
I don't know.
It's a health thing.
It's part of the NAACP. So I found a guy who's at literally 20 clinics.
Wow.
He's everywhere. And so I've been to him twice now.
Mm-hmm.
Once in the middle of Bnei Brak, like literally right by Panovich. Okay, went to the guy. And he has no time for humor, no time for talking.
Nothing. No joke. It's a very funny topic, urologist.
Nothing. And okay, so I figured, this guy, I'm going to get him next time. Like, because
is his name Wiener?
I'm annoying him the whole time.
There was once a urologist in Jerusalem named Dr. Wiener, which is
you're really in the dead ball era right now. No, actually, the dead ball was the pitching, bro.
He treated people with dead ball.
Okay.
Touche, Benji.
Touche. That was a strikeout. Touche to the pitcher.
Anyway, so what?
So then I went to him. I had to go again. I don't need to go back to Bnei Brak. I have the whole country ahead of me where to see this guy.
Did you put, what's that thing, that location thing that they put in cars? Low jack? You put a low jack on him and follow him around?
No, but I ended up somewhere beautiful, which I never thought would be. It's in like a new neighborhood of Rosh Hashanah.
Is that where he lived?
No.
You stalked him?
No, I'm saying I went to another appointment at a different clinic.
Funny thing happened to me in Rosh Hashanah once. I wanted to go to Rami Levi, which is one of the Israeli supermarket chains. We'll get back to your urologist in a second. I'm sure it's very interesting. And I never shopped at Rami Levi before.
Okay.
And, there's Rami Levi. There's obviously Supersal, as our American listeners might know it, but in Israel you say Shufersal.
Yep.
Which means beautiful basket or something like that. I don't know what Shufer means, like perfect basket.
Yeah.
And Chatzi Chinam. Chatzi Chinam means half free.
Right.
The thing, though, about Chatzi Chinam is I looked into it. It's half free, but it's half 4 times the price. So it's twice the price on average.
Okay.
You have to read the fine print.
Can I ask you a question?
In a minute. I'm in the middle of the Rami Levy story.
It's on
in a
the
minute.
topic. Yeah.
But it's just one sec. So
Rami Levy, what
I
happened?
put Rami Levy in Waze. This is pretty much in the beginning of Waze in Israel. It's early in the Waze journey. And so that's like 10 years ago. It's more, like 11 years ago. I put in Rami Levy, and I know it's in Rosh Hashanah, so I put in Rami Levy Rosh Hashanah, and it gives me the address, and I go. And I'm going into a new neighborhood. That's what made me remember the story, because he said, and I'm going, and they're like circular neighborhoods, and the circles are getting smaller. I'm getting deeper and deeper in the neighborhood. I'm like, why would there be a supermarket in the inner part of this small neighborhood? And then I get to that house, the destination, and it's a guy named Rami Levy's house. It's not even the Rami Levy.
It's a different Rami Levy.
It's just a Rami Levy. I have to go all the way out of there. It wasn't that far away. I was like,
great. Well, there's a part of Rosh Hashanah now that is gorgeous. And
very modern.
This whole clinic was beautiful and new. So I saw the guy again. Okay. And this time I was going to make him at least smile, right? I didn't care how. Like I would have done almost anything.
Right.
And so he says to me,
you could tell a urologist.
I said, hey, I'm seeing you all over the country. You must have the Guinness Book of World Record,
most clinics,
most of being available at the most clinics in the Middle East. He looks at me in all seriousness. He goes, no, I have the record for Mukheret and possibly Israel.
Wow.
But I couldn't get anything else out of the man.
So I have an idea for you. Yeah. Next time you see the doctor, and I wish you only health.
Yep.
But next time you see the doctor, say, hey, doctor, let's call him Dr. Wiener. It's not his name. First of all, that itself is a joke, as we mentioned before. But hey, Dr. Wiener, I was thinking the word testicle has the word tickle already in it. And I bet he would smile.
You think he would?
Yeah, because it's a pun that's in his area.
He just has no time for me. And it's killing me. Meaning, do you find this certainly? The people that you really like are people that find you funny.
It helps.
Yeah.
It helps.
It helps a lot. And so this doctor's killing me. And then I really tried. I said, listen, I'm going to come to you again, but somewhere else, because you're basically like my tour guide. I'm seeing the whole country with you. And he looked at me and he said, you should only see me if there's something wrong with you.
Wow.
Meaning, what do I do with this guy?
I know. It's talking to him is like passing
have a drink.
Kidney stone.
I'll bring in some alcohol next time. I want to loosen it up a little bit. What he did, though, was he said,
you know what I recommend you do? Bring in some whiskey, but put it in like urine sample test tubes. That might make him laugh. Like I used to do that. A urologist at my father-in-law's synagogue would do that on the holiday of Simchat Torah. When people would drink in synagogue, he would pour the whiskey. It was like a test tube tray, and he'd go around the shul handing out urine samples.
You know what I miss? The old men.
One of them was urine, and I always got it.
I miss the old men.
Just my luck.
I miss the old men with the snuff.
Oh yeah, the snuff
Remember
guys.
that?
There was one guy. There was one guy in my shul in Manhattan, but then he got into crack and stuff. He made money early, but he got
they
shot.
had a beautiful. Where did that go? Where do you get that stuff?
There's still snuff. There's a guy
I'd like to become that guy.
There's a guy in our shul who gives it out here.
Oh, really?
On Yom Kippur.
On Yom Kippur, right?
Yeah.
Anyway,
it got less popular in COVID.
He was feeling around.
People didn't want to put in their nose what the neighbor's fingers from their nose.
Right. It's another casualty of COVID, along with kids reading and actually knowing math.
Blame Fauci.
Whatever else.
I blame Fauci. He short sold. Don't
blame Fauci. He tried his best.
Snuff? What's it called?
Snuff. I think so.
Yeah, snuff.
What is in Yiddish?
No idea.
I don't know either.
No idea.
Anyway, he was feeling my groin, and he said, listen, you have a double hernia.
The snuff guy at shul?
Yeah. But it smelled really good. My whole body after.
You'll do a lot. You'll do a lot for snuff. Right. You might have an addiction, Benji.
I told you I like the snuff guy. So I was feeling my groin, and he said, you have a double hernia. I said, a double hernia?
It's not.
And he said, yeah, but to have it confirmed, you need to see a surgeon.
Ooh, things got serious.
Everything
was fun and games.
But also the app exploded because it's like, there's no surgeons available soon to see me. And I have private insurance, but I don't want to bother them. Like, just take my money. I don't want to actually rock the boat. We have a nice thing going. They take my money and I get nothing. So I basically then found, out of nowhere, popped up in Ra'anana, which is where we live.
Yes.
surgeon available the next day.
What kind of surgeon are you looking for?
This was general surgeon.
You're going to come to the surgeon with your plan for the surgery?
No, I was coming to him for him to confirm my double hernia or to talk about surgery or whatever it might be.
Do the surgery tomorrow.
I was going for a consult. That's what doctors call it. With the surgeon about the potential double hernia.
All right.
Okay. So I go there.
All right.
I walk in the room, and the man is, I kid you not, 95 years old.
Wow.
Now, I'm not being ageist.
Well, no.
But he said, okay, he said, wait a minute. And he's doing something on his phone.
Probably knows a lot about hernias, 95 years old.
I think so. Yeah. And then he said, listen, can you help me with something? And I said, what? He's like, I'm trying to print something off my phone.
That's hard even for me.
I kid you not. We spent 20 minutes together.
Right.
Both of us too old to figure out how to print something off his phone. And then I lay down. And he barely touched me. And he's like, you don't have a hernia. Do I trust him?
He probably knows what he's talking about. He's 95 years old.
That could be. Okay. So I'm continuing to work out because if I have a double hernia, I probably shouldn't do that.
What was he printing? Like his will? It might have been something important.
No, that was the weird thing. I was looking at someone's I don't want to alienate any of our
95-year-old listeners.
Yeah. I shouldn't have seen that document.
Is a double hernia better than a single hernia? And is it related to your kidney stone?
I don't know.
Because I watch House, and that's what Occam's razor would make you try to diagnose.
Remind me what Occam's razor is again. I feel like I just know it, but what is that?
Occam's razor, and this relates to conspiracy theories, because people mistake it, and then they think. Occam's razor says that the most simple explanation for any number of phenomena is more likely to be true than a more complex explanation.
But what does it mean, Occam's razor? Like it relates to something.
I think there is a Greek or Roman philosopher named Occam who arrived at this, and the razor
while shaving.
Maybe while shaving. Yeah. And he was a urologist. He also did brisses. So that's the razor.
Right.
And at the bris, he would say the simplest explanation for this is, the simple explanation for a bagel and lox is that you're Jewish. That was the explanation.
Okay.
And so that's what he became famous for. And but I think that's what I mean. And that's a function of simple probability, as we know. When you have two independent choices, the likelihood of them happening or of them being correct depends you multiply the probabilities of the two. So if you have 3, then it's an even less probable result. But if you just 1, it's more likely.
I see. I'm gonna look that up.
But in conspiracy thinking, what people say is, well, they look for the one explanation that explains, and then they project it to explain everything. So,
meaning it's the most,
and that's wrong.
It's a unified theory, right? But it's the most complicated for each individual.
Something like that. I'm not sure. I think.
Meaning, like, if the Jews control everything,
there it is,
and they're manipulating the way people think about stuff. But for them to have made it happen, that, for instance, the Kennedy assassination happened and involved all these agencies and people, and it was a cover of all these years, would be virtually impossible, right?
It's so crazy, man. People are nuts.
I don't know if we talked about this, but
you should listen to the podcast, then you'd know.
Yeah, but it turns out Hitler wasn't that bad.
What do you mean?
On account of, like, on the right, thank you, Trump supporters. There's like this idea, as you know, that basically, Churchill was terrible.
They are,
and
that's that guy. That's that guy.
It's not
David,
just that guy.
Cooper.
It's this guy Cooper, right? Who's channeling David Irving, who's someone who I've read a lot of his stuff.
Choose a name, man. Those are both first names, David Irving.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
You remember as kids we used to make fun of people? I didn't make fun
of people named Irving.
It was like a song, no last name, no last name. You can call him David. You can call him Irving. No last name.
Wow. What a creative childhood.
Yeah. No, in New Jersey, we just lit it up with culture. Like, you had Broadway in New York. You had museums. We had little songs. We can make fun of people about just about anything. Yeah. It was like
that is coming back.
A Bergen County special.
It's I know it's shooting ourselves in the foot to blame podcasts, but I blame podcasts and I blame smartphones. Everything went terrible with smartphones. It's so obvious. That's what happened. People are. I come home. I'm looking at my smartphone. My wife is talking to me, and she's right. Like I'm not even doing anything. I'm just like switching between apps sometimes.
Did you see?
People need to get out of their phones.
It's hard.
People need to go down real rabbit holes.
Yeah.
Get out of the house. Get off the phone. Yeah. Go to your backyard and go down a rabbit hole.
Oh, an actual rabbit hole?
Yes. Don't do it virtually. It's killing us. Go down an actual rabbit hole.
I don't think we have that around here.
We'll find one.
I don't think there's rabbits running around.
There are kinds of
maybe
rabbits.
Snakes?
Small snake hole.
That could be dangerous.
It's
less dangerous than going down the rabbit hole of the phone because that destroys your life.
Exactly, Benji.
I mean, a snake hole most likely is not lethal here. It's a garden snake of some sort. Yep. Yeah. I'm going to do that this afternoon. Although I have that artificial turf. Like, do I have to cut it open?
Go down and you have the very small drain hole.
That's true.
Which we remember from a previous episode, but it's not raining anymore.
It's not raining at all.
By the way, in the Kinneret, speaking of the Kinneret, I was mentioning that it's empty. The reason that it's empty, and you know who told me this, I don't know if you were there, is our previous guest, Ami Ohayon, the king of Aquacave. And that's from our second episode, or third episode. I love that guy, yes. First guest. I love him too. And he explained that they did some fancy algorithms. Yeah, the fancy scientists, computer people, like your
experts,
your 95-year-old surgeon who's all fancy on his phone and his printer.
Right.
They put together an algorithm that said it was going to rain a lot this winter, so they could drain the Kinneret early before it rained.
Meaning based on some prediction of future rain, they drained it more than typically they let it go into the Jordan.
Maybe. And they use
I don't trust that Frenchman.
It might not. It sounds, but I think the general. I had heard from other sources that that was true.
Not just the French. Okay,
I trust him as far as this. I trust him implicitly.
I trust him about a lot of things, but he's not a rain expert.
No, or
he knows a lot of things, expert, but not that.
Anyway, okay, and that's what they did, and so it's empty. So,
but you're right. We need to get off our phones. I feel like you and I, maybe we can become like buddies.
I'd like that.
In terms of, you need someone who's your like that you're reporting to, like how much phone usage per day. Like if we limit it to a certain amount per day,
right?
I think we'll be better off because you can't get off the phone. Like our kids can't get a phone. We can't do it without each other. Yeah. So will you be my friend?
I will be your de-phoning buddy.
No, really. We'll do something this week.
Yeah. Text me. Let's make an app. Benji, wishing you a great rest of the day.
We have also Yom HaTzmaut coming up, all that big week ahead.
Yom HaZikaron and Yom HaTzmaut.
Besorot Tovot.
Okay, Besorot Tovot.
Amen.
Bye-bye.